What is up, guys? This is Pinzo, back with another video today, and today we've got another D&D Storytime video, and I'm going to keep putting these out. I really enjoy making them, so there will be one or two of these out each week, along with one or two episodes of the Square Table server, along with whatever content I come up with making. So if you guys do go on to enjoy the video, please do leave a like below. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, but without any further ado, let's get right into it, boys. Today's story starts when we run into this guy who has a job for us. And he says he says, I believe the quote was low risk. That was a lie. I wish we hadn't listened to him. He was like, I've got this low risk job for you guys. It's just easy. It'll be 1,000 gold if you guys can get it done. He says, I'll pay you 50 up front for provisions and 1,000 gold if you can get it done. And I mean, of course the party said yes. That sounds fantastic, right? Well, the job was to kill a dwarf, except this dwarf was imprisoned in the maximum security prison in the center of the capital, which sounds really hard to get into, and it's even harder than it sounds. So we end up taking the job. We were like, yeah, we can take the job if we don't get it done, no harm, no foul. So we have a 2-day time period to kill this dwarf, because the dwarf is actually on death row. But this guy, we don't know his name at all, who employed us, He wants him dead for some personal reason, so he's willing to pay for his head. He wants us to bring him back his head. So we accept the job for some reason. I don't know why. It was a super not a good move. And we go through town, and this has been a dwarven city. The whole city is like 80% dwarves, and they don't really like people who aren't dwarves, at least on the inner side of the city. So me, of course, playing a half-orc, has to stock up on transmutation potion. It changes me. I can turn into people, essentially. So I was just turned into a dwarf for most of this time. We come up with the plan that this prison, which is essentially a large tower surrounded by a moat, and then that moat is surrounded by a 20-foot wall. So if you climb the wall, you drop into the moat, and across the moat, it just goes straight up into the tower. There's no leeway on the other side of the moat. The only way in and out is a drawbridge through guarded gates on both sides. The gates are guarded on the inside, the gates are guarded on the outside. The drawbridge has to have special permission to be lowered. There's a special key that only the head prison guard had, and we have to find a way to not only get in, but then get back out with the head of this dwarf, who we have no idea where he is being held in this prison. So there's a lot of variables here, and we don't know any of them, and we decided to take this job. Well, we come up with the idea of the dwarf in our party and the half-elf. The half-elf had some vendetta against elves, and she was kind of known around the parts in the dwarven city. And they kind of knew that she didn't like elves, and they were kind of okay with just letting her hang around the dwarf city. She had a pretty good reputation. So our dwarf and our half-elf decide to chain up me playing a half-orc and our other party member, our ranger, who is playing an elf. They chain us up, and they bring us to the prison. And this is where it went south. Okay, the plan was good from the start. The plan was good, because the plan was to get us inside. They would, just fake guard us on our way in, stuff like that. We'd get in, we'd kick some ass, we would get this dude, we'd kill him, we'd get out. Well, you see, where it went wrong was the outside guards at the wall around the moat say, what are you bringing these prisoners here for? And that's where it went down. He asked one question, and it went downhill. We could not come up with an answer to this question, because this is a maximum security prison. He was like, what were these guys doing that leads them to be led into a maximum security prison? Well, what our half-elf comes up with is they were fighting in a bar. That doesn't put you in a maximum security prison. We're all sitting here staring at the half-elf. We're like, bro, you cannot answer a question like that with an answer like that and expect this to work. And so our dwarf, he kind of picks it up. He says that we killed somebody in a bar fight, which is slightly, worse. People die in bar fights all the time, right? So they end up letting us in skeptically. They skeptically let us in. And we get across the drawbridge, we get inside, and they have other guards take the 2 prisoners, who are this elf and me, the half-orc, and the 2, quote, guards, our half-elf and our dwarf. They end up talking to, like, the prison guard. This is, like, the highest guy. I don't know. He had a title, but I can't for the life of me remember it. And they take those 2 and they, like, interview them to see how truthful they're being. And while this is happening, the other 2 of us are being led into cells. We get into our cells, and I'm a half-orc. I was like, can I break the chains? And our DM said, well, you'd have to roll a nat 20 in your first 3 attempts, because after that I would be too tired. You can't take 20 on lots of strength checks because they don't work. The most you can usually take on a lot of strength checks is a 10. So I was like, okay, I roll 3 times. I actually hit it on the last one. I hit the 20. So I do break through my chains. Now I'm out of my chains, but I'm still locked in a cell. And I get a guard's attention. And I got really lucky on grabbing him. I had to pass a grapple check through the bars of my cage, or through the bars of my cell, which is not easy. Not easy. I had to hit like a 16 plus my strength. I grab him through the bars. I get him up against the bars, because I'm a half-orc and this is a dwarf. Like, I can overpower him pretty easily. And I choke him out. I grab his keys. I unlock my cell. I grab our elf, I unlock her cell, and so now the 2 of us are out, and we have no weapons, we have no nothing. Our weapons are in storage, wherever they put everyone's weapons in the prison. And so at this point, we have nothing. We're just lost. We're on the 2nd floor, that's all we know. We know that there's 5 floors total. We believe there's a basement, but we haven't seen it, so we don't know yet. And at this point, we end up going back downstairs, which was a stupid move, really. And we find our weapons. They're right at the bottom of the stairs. It's just a cubby under the stairs, basically, is where all our weapons are stored. And so we grab all our weapons, we suit up. We don't really want to kill the guards, because if we kill the guards, then the whole, city will be after us for a long time, and that's not good. As we come downstairs, our dwarf and our half-elf are coming out of their little meeting with this president guy. And at this point, there is no way we are getting these front doors open. We are not leaving through the drawbridge. So we try to run, and we end up running downstairs into the basement. And as we get downstairs, we find that this is where they keep the maximum security people. So we get down there, and there's 3 cells. 2 of them are empty. One of them has a redheaded dwarf in it. And we look in there, he's just chained to the ground. He has 6 chains on both of his arms. He doesn't look that scary. And we're like, oh, well, hey, boys, this is the dude we're supposed to kill for that guy who's going to pay us a bunch of money. This dwarf basically seems like he knows exactly what we're doing. He knows why we're there. He basically knows who sent us as well. And it sounds like he kind of explains to us why he's there. He was, preaching or something against the Church of God. He's a cleric, but he didn't like the way that things were being ran, sort of, in the church, so he kind of lashed out against it, and it didn't go so well for him. We end up saying, we're gonna have a hard time getting out of here as is. If you help us get out, we won't kill you. And we didn't plan to kill him. There were a couple people in the party who may have just done it anyway. I wasn't planning on it, but... And the dwarf was I don't have any better odds. So he came with us, and we're running through the basement of this place, and both our dwarves stop. And there's a mural on the wall, but it's on an old stone brick wall. The bricks are kind of coming apart, and both the dwarves stop and look at it, and they're like, there's something behind this wall. Because dwarves are really good at looking at architecture and stuff like that and telling you where stuff is in stone, especially. And they say, there's something behind this wall. And we're like, well, what's behind there? And they pull out a couple bricks, and it looks like an old garbage chute, but there shouldn't be a garbage chute on the bottom floor. A garbage chute would be on the 2nd or 3rd floor. So we wonder why there's a garbage chute down here, and at this point the guards are starting to catch up to us. We had barricaded the entrance to the basement pretty well, and it had taken them a little bit of time to catch up with us. So now we're stuck with our decision of run further into the basement or jump down this garbage chute. We end up deciding to jump down the garbage chute because running across the basement would have just been a death sentence. We jumped down a garbage chute, right? We did not expect the garbage chute to be coated in dried blood, nor did we expect to land on a large pile of dead and decomposing bodies at the bottom of this garbage chute. So we're all at the bottom of this garbage chute. We're in a huge chamber. We can't tell how far we really fell. We fell onto a very large mound of dead bodies. A lot of them are older than dead. A lot of them are basically all the way decomposed. We have no clue how long they've been down here. Some of them even look kind of fresh. So we really got no clue. And now we are down here in the dark, surrounded by dead bodies, with nowhere to go. And all we gained out of this was a guy we were supposed to kill. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please do be sure to leave it a like, give me a comment, let me know what you guys like to see, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. As always, boys, I'm Pinzo. This video's donezo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.